Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
Welcome to the Double R Show. Double R here along with son Paul, and we're going to have an opportunity to relive something that was extraordinarily special last weekend that you played a major role in.
Well, I was one of the participants that helped organize that, but really the whole Cascade Head Biosphere Collaborative and all its partners really are the ones that made it happen. And what we're talking about, of course, is the 50th celebration of the Cascade Head Biosphere Region.
Yeah,
the Cascade Head Biosphere Region. You know, it used to be called the Reserve. That was when it was originally nominated. And of course, that would have been 50 years ago. And so what we had on Saturday was a big celebration. You were there, and Mom was there, and lots of other folks. Almost 150, 200 people, I think, showed up. 100
people were there for the afternoon session, and then again at night. And we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah. The Night Sky at Night Park event, I think, drew about 80 folks. And so, that was pretty fabulous. And so we got three folks that were the headlining act, I guess, the Power Hour, if you will. And we'll be had interviews with those folks, and we'll bring those to you right after these messages.
I'm Josh Zantello with Zantello Law Group, and we are fortunate to have a number of attorneys in our office that specialize in a variety of law fields. Call our office and set up a free consultation. With our field of experts, you're never alone.
Chinook's Casino Resort is much more than just a casino. Beachfront accommodations, challenging 18-hole golf course, and dining choices galore. Remember, coastal treasures are found in the gift shop at Chinook's Casino Resort in Lincoln City.
Books and puzzles have one thing in common. Bob's Beach Books in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City. Books for every interest, books by authors from around the world and across the street. Visit Bob's Beach Books so you can say, I have read a good book lately.
50 years ago, the UNESCO site, the Biosphere at Cascade Head, was established. With us is a gentleman that is most responsible for that, Jerry Franklin. Jerry, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Now, the UNESCO site, why? Why did you get involved with forming it in the beginning?
Well, I got involved because I was, at the time the program was being developed, I was at the National Science Foundation. And the State Department was looking for somebody scientific to participate in the design of biosphere reserves, and they picked me. And so I participated in the organizational meetings in which they began to discuss biosphere reserves and what they should be.
When you go back in time to that 50 years ago, it was not an easy task, was it?
No, it wasn't. I had to be pretty damn creative. And we were not set up in this country to do the thing that UNESCO ideally wanted to do. And so anyway, it was an interesting time, and we had a bilateral cooperation with with Soviet Union. It was in the era in which we had some initial openings with the Soviet Union, and we were both interested in biosphere reserves and the concept, and so we did quite a bit with the Soviets actually with regards to biosphere reserves.
When you look at this biosphere and what has happened in the, say, last 50 years, what brings you the most pride?
I think what brings me the most pride is that we have really developed a much deeper knowledge of our ecosystems, and particularly here in the Northwest, our forest ecosystems. Because if you go back to 50 years ago, we didn't know very much at all about our natural forests. Can you believe it? We had done research on Douglas fir, but what we've only done was to try to figure out how to manage it, how to grow it in plantations and things like that. And no one had spent any time studying the natural forest and how it worked. And we have now a very good knowledge, a very good understanding of these forests and how they work. And that's very valuable as we seek to manage them in ways that sustain wildlife and other aspects of the ecosystem, as well as producing products that we need, like wood.
That is probably the biggest misunderstanding. A lot of people thought that the UNESCO site was just to tie up the land. That's not true.
No, it wasn't. And of course, there's some people who were really crazy and were concerned about people coming in black helicopters and blue helmets and taking over the land. You know, that was a fear about somebody from the United Nations. So,
not true.
Not true, not at all. And this particular biosphere reserve, the people in it have really taken a lead in making the concept work the way that we really intended for biospheres to work.
Were you involved or is still involved in other biospheres around the world?
No, I haven't had any involvement except a little bit in this one, and that's all.
As you still look at what has happened and continues to happen with this biosphere.
Keep track of what's been happening in some other countries. But again, like I said, it was interesting that the U.S. really got involved with the Soviet Union, and we had some wonderful exchanges with the Soviets where they came here and we came over to the Soviet Union and looked at what they were doing and learned from them and vice versa.
In a couple of minutes, you'll be addressing the gathering here at Knight Park for the 50th UNESCO celebration. What are you going to tell them?
Well, I'm going to try and give them some historical context. I think that's what they wanted from me was how did this get here? Why did it get here? And then I want to tell them, that what they have done is to take that concept and make it work, despite the fact they have no support from the United States government or UNESCO. But they've done exactly what was intended to happen in biosphere reserves.
Biosphere, do you see this expanding?
Well, I think the concept is being applied more and more, particularly on the public lands. And, it really has to do with managing our forests as ecosystems rather than as simply crops. And so some of it relates to the effort called biosphere reserves, but it's just fundamentally the evolution of our understanding of these systems and putting that understanding to work.
Jerry Franklin, we appreciate you coming back for the celebration, the 50th celebration, and look forward to your presentation.
Well, thank you.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We're talking with Lisa Norton, and Lisa is with the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians. You have been attended the activities today here at the Biosphere at Knight Park. How important is that to the tribe?
I think anytime when we're talking about conservation, restoration, or just our relationship with the natural world, it's very important. That it's on our original reservation land is also an additional important factor for us. We're always celebrating folks who are engaged in conservation and restoration just as we are. So it is very important to us for a lot of reasons.
You have the Siletz tribe. Obviously, most of you are in the Siletz area, some distance away from this biosphere.
Not necessarily. I mean, yes, today, in today's speak, yes, we are, but that's as a result of termination and restoration. But I think we also need to think a lot of our people, their original allotment lands were in this area. And so thinking of that connection, we never forget the people who've gone before us. And so when you think about that, a lot of people were allotted in this area. So it's still historically important to us. And if we just focused on the Siletz area, we'd be doing a disservice to the many, many tribes up and down the coast and over to the Willamette Valley.
You just mentioned a real key word, restoration. Restoration means a lot to the tribe, not only in becoming a tribe again or recognized tribe, but the restoration of what's happening right here on this ground.
Absolutely. I mean, we're partners in that, in the restoration efforts around Lincoln County and beyond. I mean, if you think about our work in the Siletz, you think about those kind of things, you can look out in that area and you can see the work we have physically done as a tribe and continue to do up and down the coast, but primarily in Lincoln County. So for us, it's that partnership because we know we're dependent on the natural world. And if we don't have a healthy environment, we're not going to be able to continue our practices, our traditions, our cultures. Eating, surviving, those things are important to us, and we know any work done up and down the coast is going to benefit us in the long run.
Obviously, we all know that Confederated Tribes, Siletz Indian Zones, Chinookwan's Casino Resort in Lincoln City, because it really is better at the beach. But we also know that a lot of the income comes, but it's not the only source of income for the tribe.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, we have a lot of grants, not just for conservation. I'm currently administering a $30 million broadband building project. We are looking at tourism. There's so many things that we're doing as a tribe. And so when you think about it, it's not just for our tribal members, but it benefits the community. And so, yes, income, we do get some from the casino, but so much more is for the work we do in the community and for the community.
One of the things that you do are all of the grants given out every quarter, and just phenomenal amounts of money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we had a record, I want to say, over 150 applications this last quarter. I mean, people, part of it might be a statement on, the state of the world, but also people understand how important we are as a partner in this community and beyond, in that we are invested not just in our own tribal members, but the entire community. These are our friends, their relatives, our neighbors, and we want to make sure that all are taken care of.
It is impossible to talk about restoration of the tribe and not mention Dolores Paisley.
Absolutely. She is an icon. She is a powerhouse. She is who I wanted to be growing up. She is incredible even now, after 40 some years as our chairman. She's just been that constant figure driving the end goals of the tribe and making sure that we always keep that in our sights.
If there is a misconception about the tribe, what would it be, or is there?
I mean, I don't see that locally so much, but I'm going to say it bluntly. Those Indians get all those benefits. But what a lot of people don't recognize is that we operate an entire infrastructure, from roads to water to wastewater to law enforcement to social and health welfare programs. We just opened a second clinic in Lincoln City because of the need. So when you think about that, we are an entity that contributes as much as we receive, and we like to think we're good neighbors and friends.
Finally, the upcoming opening of the Cultural Center, where's that?
Well, we are in the planning phases. One of the things that is really incredible is that we were given an opportunity to reassess what that looks like. We made some decisions based on what we had available to us, and now we have a beautiful piece of land that would serve the community so much better. So now we're reimagining what it could look like. It's an exciting time, not to mention the fact that we are going to open our youth recreation center at the end of summer. I mean, there's so many things going on. The cultural center is just one more way for us to really highlight the important work that we do, but also the culture, the people, and our relationship with those around us.
Home-style cooking in a hometown atmosphere. Hi, I'm Adina from Zeller's Restaurant in Rose Lodge in Lincoln City. Join us daily for good fun and great food. You can even kick up your heels at Zeller's.
If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
Tell you what, Jon Allan. Jon is head of Biosphere Network in the U.S. That's rather impressive.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's impressive or not. It's a labor of love that the work our communities are doing in these 28 places that still carry the UNESCO designation is important to them, and if it's important to them, it's important to us. All we try to do is provide a forum and a framework by which the 28 biospheres around the country can talk to each other and learn from each other.
I think it's important to point out something that you said in your presentation, the fact that there's no federal money that comes into all of these activities.
There never has been from the beginning of the program, so that transcends all politics. There has never been a federal budget appropriation to support the UNESCO network. There has been federal appropriations through the Park Service and through some of the other federal agents to support employees participating. The most recently, a man by the name of Cliff McCready was in the science directorate in the Park Service and was really a central figure in working with the 28 biospheres. He's now a special advisor to us in the Biosphere Network and has continued to commit himself to this principle. So the federal government was supporting it through employee base and through the superintendents in the parks, but never into the core of the community. There was never money to help support places like Cascade Head and the work that they do. That's always been left to the community to figure it out.
That was going to be my next question. Where does the funding come from? Because you have so many activities worldwide.
Well, worldwide, many nations, Germans, the Italians, many nations support their biosphere networks financially. In fact, we were fortunate to get a grant through the German Commission for UNESCO to support some work we were doing in the Adirondacks with the Abenaki people and in southern Appalachia with the Eastern Band of Cherokee and in the Guanica Dry Forest in Puerto Rico. So thank you to the Germans and the Fritz Henkel Foundation for supporting that work. But it's really up to the communities to find their own grants or through local philanthropy or through earned income through events and however they want to do it. But each biosphere is different in how they do that.
I was going to ask you how you compare this biosphere to the other 28 that we have nationwide.
They're all my favorite. Look, they're all wonderful. They're all different. Some are more active than others. They're humans, right? And helping in transitions from one set of leadership to the next is always a challenge. As one group moves on, the next group needs to step in. But I could articulate, and I won't, but I could articulate in many cases where they're all doing really cool work. What I like to think about is collectively the 28 represent a really important body of work. What happens in Cascade Head is really not replicable in many other places because of the uniqueness both of its geophysical heritage, its history and its relationship to place, and its leadership. But many of them also have moments of beauty and moments of elegance and how that they manifest that relationship between people and place and people and each other.
Is there a commonality?
Yeah, I think there are a number of commonalities. One is commitment. One is identity, as I mentioned before. These are places where people say, I'm from this area. I'm from the Adirondacks. I'm from Appalachia. I'm from the coast, or the west coast of Oregon, or I'm from the Mojave Desert, or I'm from the Sonoran. Right? These are people of place. So I think that's a strong commonality. And another commonality is healthy landscape, healthy, biogeophysical and the processes that support life also beget healthy people. When those things are worked on together, it's not just about a healthy prairie, but it's about the relationship of people in place And when those things come together, that's why the biosphere concept is so important. It's not just, we'll set this property aside and preserve it forever. It's what's the relationship of people to place against that long arc of history. Not just settler history, not just indigenous history, but what does that look like as we have shaped these landscapes for centuries and eons?
You have as much support of the other areas around the U.S. as what you do have right here in North Lincoln County?
This is a very unique biosphere in many ways, both by size as well as local commitment. This is an incredible event to see so many people out. But I do know, for instance, in northern Michigan, that's a community of over 70 partners. So when they get together in partnership, there's magic. They sit in community and they decide to work on some things together, and some groups don't want to work on that. They work on other things together. Sort of the way the organicness of this works, there's no cookie cutter. I can't say just because Cascade Head does it this way that it's going to work elsewhere. It has to be crafted to local, and it has to be crafted by local people in partnership with federal land managers, with state land managers, with local tribes, with owners, with private individuals, and with conservation organizations that are all doing important work to shape what that future looks like.
You just mentioned the key word again, tribes. The tribal influence on the biospheres is critically important, is it not?
I think so. That's one thing that the network, as a whole network, has committed itself to, is to help each other learn how to be better at those relationships. And they're not just, that's not just one meeting. That's just not one invitation. That's not just a land acknowledgement ceremony. That's the hard work of listening to each other and learning from each other and recognizing the amount of hurt and harm that's been done over those hundreds and hundreds of years. And how do we work our way back to healthy relationships through that with each other and with our land.
We're about to hear, or we're hearing music in the background, all part of the celebration up here for this biosphere, the 50th anniversary of the biosphere. I wanted to conclude by asking you, is there something that you have seen in your stay here in North Lincoln County that you will take with you?
A local commitment to a bigger idea is a really compelling notion, that it's not just about the high meadow, it's not just about the coast, it's not just about fish or the bay or the estuary. It's the relationship among all those things. There's a deep sense of the wholeness of the system. And I will take that with me, and how broadly the community has embraced this notion of the entirety of it, not just the piece of it. I think that's a beautiful thing to see.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. When it comes to shopping, one place to consider shopping is the gift shop at Chinookwan's Casino Resort. Newly expanded, new items, a multitude of new items available for you and your family to enjoy, to treasure, to take home with you, to give as gifts. So if you're looking for someplace to go shopping and something special for that loved one afar away, stop in at the gift shop at Chinookwan's Casino Resort. Chinookwan's with beachfront accommodations, challenging 18-hole golf course, and dining options galore, including the Rogue River Room. Highly recommend all of the pasta dishes in the Rogue River Room at Chinookwan's. It is better at the beach. Welcome back to the Double R Show. I'd like to remind everybody that coming up on Monday, July 27th, 6 o'clock, Lincoln City Council meets in council chambers. On Wednesday, July 29th at 4 o'clock, we got the Public Arts Committee. They're having a special meeting. On Tuesday, August 4th, Planning Commission meets Driftwood Public Library on the 5th. And the next City Council meeting, first one in August, will be August 10th at 6 o'clock at City Hall Chambers. So keep those activities and events in mind. And again, Paul, the events of this past weekend were just absolutely, they were fun. They were entertaining. It was extremely informative.
Yeah, I think the three speakers really just...
they nailed it.
Yeah, really, really, really did, in fact. And so Jerry Franklin, of course, was the person that nominated the Biosphere Region, again, 50 years ago. And then we had Lisa Norton from the Siletz tribe. She's the chief administrative officer there.
Absolutely.
And then Jon Allan from the U.S. Biosphere Network. So he's out of like the Michigan area. Is where
over all of the biospheres
of the U.S. For the U.S., you bet.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's a volunteer that is kind of helping to build that network, because what we have here is one biosphere region sitting on the 45th parallel on the west coast of North America, but there are 27 other folks in the U.S. and around the world, too. There's another 740 of us.
But your main thing is education, correct?
It certainly has been, yeah. Education, climate research, and community outreach are our three pillars. And the education pillar has really got a lot of feet behind it. Yeah, we've got a lot of work in that already.
And again, for people that are tuning in for the first time and hearing about this biosphere that they really know little about, where do I go? Where can I pick up additional information?
Yeah, so to find out information about the Cascade Head Biosphere Region, go to cascadehead.org, and there's lots of information there. You can also go to our YouTube channel. You can see a lot of stuff there, so just Google Cascade Head once you're in the YouTube and see a whole bunch of videos. We've done all sorts of work on education, on outreach, and with the fish and wildlife folks, and just lots of great stuff to view and learn about.
And last but not least, one of the things that I really was not that familiar with and did not have an appreciation for, and that's the dark skies at night.
Yeah, thanks.
Different story now.
Yeah, so we got to, thanks to Stefan Kahali and her observatory, her mobile observatory, we got to peek out into the wild universe. I got to see a couple twin stars viewed from a telescope that has enough resolution. You can actually see that there's two stars there. Now, to the naked eye, it looks like one star. And so if you go peering out into space with enough magnification and resolution, you can see that, yeah, in fact, you have two distinct stars coming through. And of course, with the cloud cover, we saw a lot of the crescent moon in and out, and folks enjoyed that. But then also we had music kicking it off.
The music was spectacular. It was lovely on sitting on the beach.
Yeah. I think it turned out to be a great space, and thanks to Dan Pack and Brandon Lucas for bringing that to us. So yeah, that was just a fun event, and just a way to learn a little bit about why maybe we'd want to protect that night sky. And when we're talking dark skies, you're now becoming an expert.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the expert part, but let me tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed looking through that telescope, getting a different appreciation for the heavens.
Yeah. And so, I talked to Stefan about this, and at that site, we're what was called like a Bortle 4, maybe a 3. You want to get down to 2 or 1, right? That's ideal. Mm-hmm. New York City is a 9, right? You're not going to see the night sky. You're just going to see reflection off the particles in the air. And so if we can lower our light pollution, then we can get down that number, and we're going to see more of the heavens, like you say, the Milky Way across the sky, all the different stars and those other planets that are orbiting our star.
And again, I did enjoy everything that took place, in particular, the knowledge that was imparted to everybody that was just absolutely fascinated by all three speakers.
Yeah, the music that we had at the event during the 1 to 5 show, I guess the daytime part of the event of the 50th celebration, was a band out of Portland area that we got connected to through Brian Nichols of Zug Life in town here in the Zug Surf Shop. Anyhow, the band, just fabulous band. They're called Bikini Drone, and just a amazing melodic sound that they brought to the environment. And of course, that was what we got to hear at the end of that interview with Jon Allan. So just credit to them. Bikini Drone, just appreciate them participating in the event as well.
So that'll do it to the Dunes on a Double R Show. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, so you, your family, and friends around the world and across the street can join us on a Double R Show. And again, if you would like to become one of the sponsors and provide donuts you could do that.
Right. Yeah, we haven't talked about the Donut Club for a while, but we have a way that you can sponsor the Double R Show. Buy a donut hole, buy a old fashioned, or heck, buy a baker's dozen, and just 3 ways you can support monthly this program. And if you're looking for more information about that, just go to doublershow.com and look up the Donut Club.
And the mayor of Lincoln City did point out to me that she enjoys hearing the fact that our program is listened to from Thailand to West Germany.
West Germany? Just Germany now.
Now I'm showing my age again.
Yeah, that's the AFN days.
That's the AFN day to Germany. So have a happy day, everybody. And again, thanks to everybody involved in last weekend's celebration out at Knight Park.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grahn.